There was an age before iron, before names, before memory. In a valley of black stone and dripping vines, a tribe of half-upright primates moved like silent ghosts through a world that did not want them alive. Their skulls were human-shaped, but their faces still held the muzzle of the ape, and their hands were built not for tools, but for tearing. They did not speak language. They hissed, clicked, and signaled with bone-thin arms. They had no fire, no metal, only hunger. At dawn, they rose from a cave of wet stone, ribs showing, bellies folded inward, eyes bright with starvation. The forest did not feed the slow. The forest demanded violence. The alpha male, broader shoulders, broken canines, brow heavy like stone, gave a low pulse snarl. The group began to spread, forming a living circle of intent. They hunted not for sport, but to survive the next sunrise. First target, the cliff ledge that held the eagle's nest. Falcon eggs, fat, warm, slow, the easiest calories in a cruel world. Two scouts climbed the brittle face of the cliff, knuckles scraping rock. Far above, the mother falcon screamed, wings beating the air into a blade of sound. She dove once, twice, striking the scouts with her talons, trying to knock them into the death valley below. One scout slid, pebbles exploding down the face, but he caught the ledge with bleeding knuckles. The other reached the nest, his trembling hand entering the bowl of woven thorn and feather. He knew the eggs might mean the difference between life and extinction. He ripped two smooth white shells free. The mother falcon screamed again, a sound older than history, then vanished into the high air, defeated by a species too desperate to be merciful. Back in the undergrowth, the rest of the tribe waited in hunger silence. They did not cheer, they did not thank. They only tore small pieces of egg with shaking fingers and breathed again. But the forest was listening. From the roots of fallen fig trees, from the hollow where humidity never lifts, something thicker than rope and older than teeth began to move. A python. Not a small constrictor, a giant coil of prehistoric design, as thick as a man's torso. It slid with soundless correctness toward the weakest member, a female crouched at the edge, chewing egg membrane. She never saw it. In one liquid strike, the python looped her torso. The air burst from her lungs in a voiceless panic. Her arms thrashed, but her fingers found no purchase, only slick scale. No one in the tribe rushed to save her. There was a pause, a calculation older than ethics. One death could feed many. One sacrifice could buy a day of survival. But the alpha decided otherwise. With a low, seismic bark, he charged, driving both fists into the python's knot to loosen the coil just enough for her ribs to inflate again. Others joined, not out of compassion, but because the python itself was a prize more valuable than the female's life. For 2 long breaths, the clearing became a silent war. Not loud, not emotional, but just a collision of need versus muscle. The python tried to drag its prey backward into leaf shadow. The tribe tried to hold the drag to 0. Then the coil slipped. The female fell free, gasping, while the alpha held the serpent at the neck, pinning it under body weight and rock pressure. The python did not scream, snakes do not beg, but its body rived with the language of something that understands it is losing. The tribe finished the kill without spectacle, quick, efficient, unceremonial. They did not celebrate the rescue. They did not thank the alpha. They only began stripping the prize, not with knives, but with stone edges and fingernails. Heat returned to their blood. Life had been purchased again, for now. But the forest had not finished. Movement shook the canopy to the west, something heavier than primates, something with horn and rage running behind its ribs, a form large enough to crush the entire tribe under a single charge. The day had not ended in survival. It had only opened the next page of threat. The python was no longer moving. The tribe fed in silence. The only sound was the wet crack of teeth against flesh. But the forest around them, that living architecture of vines and bone, suddenly stopped breathing. No birds, no insects, no leaf sound.